welcome back to Baking with Izzy, and if you're new here, this is my YouTube channel where we basically do baking, cooking, anything you can think of. And if you're not new here, you know the drill. Let's get right into it. So I recently got this new cookbook and I was flipping through it and kind of noting all the recipes that I wanted to try, and one of them was this chocolate thumbprint cookies, which I've always had the traditional cookies with like the thumbprint and the jam in it. I've never had it with chocolate. So I guess we're gonna try this out and see how it tastes. All right, so I'm gonna start off with a small bowl and I'm gonna be adding chocolate chips and shortening, which I'm just gonna use butter. I don't have any dark chocolate chips. Actually, I found some. So I do have dark chocolate chips and we need some butter. Okay, got my butter. So we're gonna need a half a cup of semi-sweet or dark chocolate chips, and we need 1 tablespoon of butter. And I'm just gonna do like 5-second intervals to make sure this doesn't burn. Okay, I just took it out of the microwave and now I'm just mixing it until it's smooth. Once you mixed it until it's smooth, you can set this bowl aside and grab a larger bowl, and we're gonna first by starting creaming together the butter and sugar until it's fluffy. I'm gonna start by adding in a half a cup of butter, and I'm gonna soften this in the microwave. Once your butter's nice and softened, we're gonna add in 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar. Pour that right in. Now I'm gonna take my really old and crusty whisker and whisk this until it gets fluffy. But I only found 1 whisk attachment, so we're just gonna use this one. And I definitely just made a complete mess with that and spewed the butter everywhere, so that was great. Now that this is nice and fluffy, I'm just taking my spatula and scraping it off the sides. Now we're gonna add in 1 egg. Now we're gonna beat it in. Now I'm adding in a teaspoon of vanilla extract, which I'm just gonna eyeball it. Whisk this together as well. So you're supposed to add in freshly brewed coffee, but I'm just gonna add in some instant espresso powder, which I'm probably just gonna add in about a half a teaspoon. I'm just gonna fold that together. Okay, now we're gonna bring back our melted chocolate mixture and pour it into this mixture, and then we're going to blend it all together. Okay, now I'm gonna add in 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Once your flour is in your bowl, I'm gonna now add in 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder. I almost said baking powder. Cocoa powder. Now comes the 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I feel like this kind of reminds me of making like a cheesecake. This is optional, but I'm just gonna add in a pinch of salt. Now we're gonna mix it all together, but this might take a little while. So I ended up actually having to mix this with the mixer because it started to get really hard to do it with just the spatula. And I know the bowl looks really messy and not mixed, but it is mixed. So now I'm going to grab. All right, I just greased my hands and I lined a baking sheet with some parchment paper. So now I'm just gonna roll these into 1-inch balls and place them about 2 inches apart on my baking pan. Once you have all your cookies rolled out, now I'm gonna make an indentation in the center of the cookie. It says with a wooden end of a spoon, so I'm just gonna use this wooden end of a spatula because it won't stick as much. So just make a little indentation in the center of each of these. Once you're finished, they should look like little donuts, but not poked all the way through. Now we're gonna put these in our preheated oven at 350 for about 6 to 8 minutes. All right, I am back and they just finished cooking. This is how they look. And by the way, these took way longer to cook than they said they would. I ended up having these in there for about 15 minutes. So definitely I would recommend somewhere around 15 to 18 minutes for these, not 6 to 8. So for the filling, you can really do anything you want, but for me, I'm gonna put some white chocolate chips and some dark chocolate chips, and then I'm gonna top them off with some crushed or whole almonds. Okay, so I have the dark chocolate and the white chocolate chips in here. I'm just gonna melt these and mix them all together. So I added some butter into here to hopefully help it melt a little bit, but it ended up kind of turning into kind of like a fudge form, which is fine, but that's not what I really wanted it to do. I wanted to pour it in here. But I guess now we can just take parts of the chocolate and like roll it up like this and press it in there. I guess that's what we're gonna have to do. Anyways, and also in the meantime, I was crushing the almonds to sprinkle on top. Alright, so I just put the almonds on top and smoothed out the chocolate in the middle. And this is how they look. Well, I guess that's it for today's video. See you guys next time. Bye.